Hey guys, I'm Eytankrief, this is Bavegang Sound Design, and today we will talk about EQ or equalization. So first of all, what is EQ? EQ is the process of adjusting the balance between frequency components. What does it mean? Well, the problem is that when a signal is cut through a microphone, it will usually sound a little dull, maybe distant, and generally speaking, we've got used to hearing voice in a certain way. When we listen to vocals in music, voiceover in ads, or dialogue in a film, it's almost always processed in a certain way. The signal usually passes through a chain of effects that includes equalization. So let's play this.
I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step so I always know what to do next. Now I can serenade my lovely wife anytime I want.
Alright, so it sounds okay because this guy's voice is pleasant and it was recorded well, but we can still make it much more bright and vivid. Listen to how it could sound after using EQ. So the EQ is bypassed. Alright, so I'm playing this
I've never considered
before
myself a musical person,
and
but
after.
Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step so
Before
I always know what to do next. Now I can
and after.
serenade my lovely wife anytime I want.
Alright, so it's much more present, it's much more vivid, and if you type EQ in the effects search bar, you'll find all kinds of EQ effects. Let's just focus on the parametric EQ for now. I'm simply dragging it, clicking Edit. Alright, so this is how almost any EQ looks like in professional sound editing software. Now, I'm not going to go into a deep explanation of all the settings and how to adapt the EQ to all kinds of recordings. In this tutorial, I just want to keep it simple and quick and give you a brief explanation of how to make your voice tracks sound better using EQ. On the horizontal axis, we have frequencies from 20 to 20,000 Hz, the human hearing range. We have the vertical axis, which is the loudness of each frequency. Those can be controlled using these settings. We have the frequency with Hertz and the gain that is measured in dB. You can also just click and drag. All right? Now, if you choose a point that is set to 100 Hz, for example, and move the gain control up, you boost the frequency. If you move it down, you decrease the loudness of this specific frequency. The next property is the shape or type. By default, points 1 to 5 are set to a bell shape. All right. In other EQs, you have all kinds of shapes, but here it's limited. You can only change the shape for the first and last point, but you can control how wide or narrow your bell is by changing this property right here. All right. So we're just going to boost the low frequencies and the high frequencies. Why? Well, boosting high frequencies improves clarity. Our ear is much more sensitive to high frequencies than to lower ones. Look at this chart, for example. This represents the human sensitivity to frequencies. We actually don't perceive all the frequencies the same way. And you can see that there is a little bump here at around 10K, which means that from 10K, our ear is much more sensitive to sound. Now, boosting the low frequencies can make your voice sound more pleasant and warm.
It relaxes your vocal cords, and as soon as they relax, the tone drops. The lower your voice is, the better you sound.
So we can't make the voice sound actually lower, but we can boost low frequencies that already exist in your voice. So I'm opening the EQ that I prepared before, and this shape right here that is boosting the high and low frequencies is the easiest and safest way to make your voice sound better without having a lot of experience with EQ. So how do I achieve that? Well, let's open a new EQ. All right, so I'm deleting this. Let's open the new one. And I'm simply going to set it back to 0. Right? So I'm pulling this point here and carefully changing the Q. All right, let's listen to it.
I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step.
Alright, so now it pops a little bit, and now I'm going to carefully add the low frequencies.
I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step, so I always know what to do next. Now I can serenade my lovely wife anytime I want. I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step, so I always know what to do next. Now.
Alright, cool. So if you want to make it sound even better, you can use a compressor. Alright, so compressor, single band compressor, edit. You can check our tutorial on how to use a compressor inside Premiere, by the way.
I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step, so I always know what to do. I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step, so I always know what to do next. Now I can serenade my lovely wife anytime I want. I've never
Let's listen to it before the EQ and compressor and after the EQ and compressor.
I've never considered myself a musical person, but Simply Piano breaks everything down step by step, so I always know what to do next. Now I can serenade my lovely wife anytime I want.
Alright, so it's much better. Alright, now I added a free EQ preset for Premiere and a free preset for Avid, which you can download in the description. After clicking, you'll go to a download page and a preset will be sent directly to your inbox. I also added an explanation on how to open and use them in your software. That way you simply open the preset and your voice will instantly sound better. Now, if it still doesn't sound good, you'll just have to send it to a sound editor. I'm not saying that as a promotion or something. The truth is that using EQ and compressor and generally the art of editing sound is quite a complex one. Editing sound is a profession. There are people that do only that all day long. But I just wanted to make sure that you have a basic understanding of EQ and that you know how to use it to make your voice tracks sound better. So that's it for today. Check out our tutorials on how to use a compressor and how to reduce background noises. These two tutorials, in addition to this one, will help you achieve a much better sound. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. See you next time.